everybody. Today I'm going to be ranking every single episode from WandaVision from the worst to the best, all 9 of them. Before I begin though, I'm going to say that this is a spoiler video, so obviously if you have not seen WandaVision, go watch it, come back watch this video. But with all that said, let's get started. Coming in last place is going to be episode 1, filmed before a live studio audience. Now I can appreciate the arts and craftsmanship that went behind this episode. I can appreciate it because, I mean, it really looks like a 50s sitcom episode. I mean, it really does look like that. They got the set design perfect, the costume design, the hair, the look, the aspect ratio, like all that looks really, really good. The whole look of the episode looks great for what they are going for, and I can appreciate that they put a lot of work into this episode, no doubt. I think that Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen are also acting really well as the 50s kind of what they acted like back then. So I think that aspect of this episode is the best out of it, but I really don't think that this is funny, and I think it's just a bit weird. And I mean, I kind of like the fact that they're not giving you much information, but I just really didn't like this first episode that much because I just found it too weird and too odd, and I really didn't think it was funny because the MCU humor just didn't really work in here for me that much, and I was just kind of waiting for it to get more interesting, and it really didn't. Not much happened this episode that really was interesting. Besides the look, the episode did not have much to it. So that's why it comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is going to be episode 2, Turn the Dial. Now this is a bit better than the other one because a few more interesting stuff happens with the helicopter and the beekeeper, and I kind of like that magic show at the end. Once again, I can appreciate the arts and craftsmanship that went in behind the scenes this episode. I think it looks great, but just like with the last one, that humor does not really work for me. So, I mean, it's a bit better, but it's just a slight improvement over the last one, so not much to say here. Coming in at number 7 is going to be episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. This one was a disappointment for me because I feel like episode 5 and 6 were leading up to something, and then episode 7 just, goes back to the sitcom, and I really don't think it works in here. The Office type, Modern Family type humor, it doesn't work for me in here because it's just not funny. Like, I really don't think Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda should be breaking the fourth wall right now. Like, I really don't think it's funny. And this episode doesn't move the story forward until you get to that Agatha all along thing. Speaking of which, how is it Agatha all along? How is she pulling all the evil strings? She did a couple of pranks. Like, this is still all Wanda. This is still all her doing. She's still doing all of this, so I don't understand how that's a major reveal, because I also saw it coming from fan theories and everything. So, I mean, that ending scene was kind of cool, but not a good episode. So that's why it comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Now in Color. This one's a okay episode, I guess I could say. I mean, I like that it's in color. I like that the 70s kind of aspect to it. I think it still looks great. Still got great production design and everything like that. And I still think that Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen are giving great performances in here. And I like the ending bit when Monica Rambeau kind of snaps out of it when she hears Ultron. I thought that was really interesting. And I really enjoyed that part of it because she kind of snaps out of it and she hears Ultron. That's the guy who killed your brother, right? So I thought that was a really interesting part in this episode. And I like that whole ending bit. I like when Agnes kind of stumbles with her lines a bit. Like, that was pretty interesting. But the first kind of 3/4 of this episode didn't really work for me. But overall, it did kind of get me into the show a bit more. So, I mean, well done on that one. Coming in at number 5 is going to be episode 4, We Interrupt This Program. Now, I thought this was a very good episode. It was one of the better episodes, in my opinion, the one that kind of turned me on to the show a bit more. And it was exposition, explaining everything that was happening, but I kind of liked that because I was interested in, like, what is going on with this world? So this episode was necessary, and I like John Woo. I actually like Darcy in this here. So, I mean, this felt like classic Marvel. There's nothing too special here. Like, it's not as cool or as mysterious as the sitcom world in the Hex, but it felt like classic Marvel, and it was cool to see what was actually going on in the real world and to see finally what was actually happening. So with all that, I really did enjoy episode 4. Coming in at number 4 is going to be episode 9, the series finale. Now, this was kind of a disappointing pick for me because I did enjoy everything pretty much leading up to episode 9. I was hyped for episode 9. I thought this was going to be an epic finale. I thought they were going to do some interesting stuff with it. And it's just kind of a CGI final battle in the end. And I'm like, yeah, that's what Marvel usually does. There's not much different here. And I mean, it's entertaining, you know? You do get Wanda fighting Agatha, and you get White Vision and Vision. I mean, I thought that White Vision stuff was pretty interesting. So overall, I do think this is a pretty good episode. I'm not disappointed fully with this finale. I just feel like they could have pulled it off a bit better, you know, maybe done some more interesting stuff than just a big final battle. But I was still very entertained throughout, and I was pleased, and I liked the final credit scenes that we got. But also, one thing that really bothered me about this episode is that when Monica Rambeau says, they don't know what you've sacrificed for them. And I'm like, whoa, what? Wanda had these people under some torturous things. They should be, like, going at her with a pitchfork or some freaking torches here, because she had them under a spell. This is, like, insane. What did she sacrifice? Her made-up life? Like, that's just so stupid. I mean, you do feel the heartstrings when she does have to say goodbye, but she had to sacrifice her made-up family. Like, it's just so dumb. Like, she should be suffering some serious consequences here. These people should be raging at her. That's what I think that this episode was needed. And Marvel is so bad at making people face their consequences. But overall, I think the episode is good. It just could have been a lot better, in my opinion. Coming in at number 3 is going to be episode 5 on a very special episode. Now, this is a very good episode, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. This is where the sitcom worked, in my opinion. This is the best where it worked. It was the best in here. Like, I actually had some jokes that made me laugh, and you know, I didn't mind the sitcom element, but I loved Vision's storyline in this episode. The fact that he lets his coworker free and then kind of weirdly just puts him back under the spell. I mean, I get that he was freaking out, but you know, he was trying to tell you what was going on, and the rest of the time you're trying to figure out what is going on. But I like that he goes home and he's yelling at Wanda. He's like, you can't be doing this to these people. And then you get that door bell, and it's like, whoa, it's Quicksilver. Also, side note, I hated that in episode 9 that they made him something boner. Like, that was just so stupid. Why would you hire Evan Peters as Quicksilver if you're not going to set up any multiverse and you're just going to make him some guy? Like, that is so stupid, Marvel. I really did not like that. That was super stupid. But back to this episode, that was a great reveal that was not paid off in the end. So what this episode set up wasn't really paid off, but this episode was still great because of what it set up and how much excitement you get from watching the end here. So, great episode. Not a lot wrong with it. I loved it. Going on, number 2 is going to be episode 6, All Halloween Spooktacular. This one I thought was a very fun episode because you get to see Evan Peters, who I think is the funniest part of the show. He gets the most laughs out of me just because of his performance in general. So I really liked him here as Quicksilver and everything. And you get to see Wanda move the hex to save Vision and all that. I thought that was really interesting as well. And overall, I think this episode is great because Vision is still wandering around, seeing what is happening here, and it's kind of creepy, the fact that these people are just kind of frozen, and you can tell that Wanda is putting them under this spell, and you really just want her to let them free, because she is a villain in this kind of episode, and she doesn't get redeemed, by the way. I still don't like Wanda. But anyways, I think that episode 6 is a very good episode. I think it's actually a great episode. I really enjoyed it. Kind of had this fun tone while had this serious tone, and it mixed them really well with one another. So overall, episode 6 I thought was great. But easily coming in at number 1 for me is going to be episode 8, Previously On. This episode was awesome in my opinion because you get to see Wanda's backstory. This is the only time where I actually felt for Wanda in this series. Only time. Otherwise, she's kind of a bitch. But in this episode, you do see her backstory, and you see how much heartbreak she's had to go through, and you do understand why she created this world in the first place. So it does give you some leeway, and I like that you get to see all of this backstory with her character. It makes a much better character, much more complex character, in my opinion. You get to see young Quicksilver, which I thought was really cool, and I really enjoyed it because this episode actually took itself seriously. It was probably just the most serious episode you could have had in here, and I really enjoyed it. It was just all about backstory, and I loved it. So episode 8 I thought was great in my opinion. Absolutely loved episode 8. What a good episode. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this ranking. Comment down below your ranking for all these episodes in the comment section down below. Tell me what you thought of WandaVision. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were some of your favorite episodes? Or what were some of your episodes that you just absolutely hated? All that stuff down below in the comment section. Hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, have a great day. See you later.